I just did a whole spiel, and then my wife messaged me and told me that I was muted. So that's embarrassing. Let's try again. Hi, and welcome to the Fast Guide to Launching. If someone could please pop into the chat box so I can see you're here. Hey, Kat, Emma, Catherine, awesome. Okay, we're working this time. That's so embarrassing, but never mind. These things absolutely happen. Oh gosh, there's so many of you here. Oh, this is so good. Okay. So a couple of little bits of housekeeping. The first thing is that there is a moderate to high chance that I'm going to speak way too fast. I tend to speak really fast anyway, but as this is about doing things fast, I'm probably going to speak fast because that's just what's going to happen. So if I'm going way too fast, or you need me to repeat anything or clarify anything, please do pop in the chat. I've got a slightly different setup to before, so I can see the chat super clearly now, and it's really easy for me to keep up with what's going because there's a really nice number of us here live. The next thing I want to say is please feel free to ask questions at any point. I may not answer them immediately. I may say I'm going to cover that in a bit, or ask me that at the Q&A section at the end, but I will make sure all your questions at some point are answered. And the last thing I want to say is that the sloths have continued to join us from the previous training I did, which was called the Lazy Guide to Affiliate Marketing. I think they're cute. I'm still kind of lazy. We're still sticking with the sloths. And also there's a really quite high chance that I'm going to at some point talk about the Lazy Guide to Affiliate Marketing when I mean the Fast Guide to Launching, just because I get used to saying a thing and then the name changes, and then so it's like for the longest time I talked about ConvertKit Rockstars when I meant ConvertKit Club, or vice versa. So we're just going to muddle through it. It's all going to be hopefully relatively clear what's going on. Okay. So the first thing I would love you to do is introduce yourself in the chat and say what you do and where you're at with launching. So the options are A, I'm already in the fast lane and I can go from idea to launch in a couple of days. B, I've done a couple of quicker launches, but they were a bit of a mess and or didn't go very well. C, I've done a couple of launches, but they were huge and or planned way in advance, or just felt big and heavy. Or D, I've never really launched anything. So Fabiana's a health coach at D, Kevin's a life coach at D, Kathy is between B and C, Catherine's career and salary negotiation coach, A and B, excellent, excellent. Evelina is holistic nutritionist, about to launch her first online program. Kat, takes too long to launch, did have great results when got it out, excellent. Nicola, fertility coach at B, C, D, B. Okay, so we've got a real mix here. One person is A/B, so most of you are B, C, or D, and you're all in the right place because I'm going to cover the whole process from beginning to end. Okay, so first up, what is a launch? And I just want to cover this really briefly. At its simplest, a launch is telling people that you have a service, training, or product that they can buy. It's usually something that they can buy for only a limited amount of time or for a limited number of people. And the exception to this is when a service, training, or product is available all the time. It's called an evergreen product in the industry, but there's a special limited time offer. So maybe they're doing a live round, or it's a reduced price and they're launching to get people in. And a launch can be for both new or existing services, products, and trainings. And it doesn't, you can do different launches for the same product you've done before. You can do the same thing again. So at its simplest form, you're basically just telling people, hey, I'm doing this thing. Do you want to buy it? That's it. It's not super complicated. That's basically what a launch is. And I think sometimes it's helpful to remember that before we get super, super stressed about launching. I just want to make a quick note on my influencers. Because a couple of people asked me about this prior to today's training, like, do you follow Jeff Walker, or do you follow so-and-so, blah, blah, blah. So I just wanted to talk about that for a moment. So my influences for launching come from a really wide variety of sources, and I don't really subscribe to any one school of thought. So I have read Launch by Jeff Walker. I've worked one-to-one and in small group programs with quite a variety of coaches at this point. I've seen behind the scenes of dozens of launches of all shapes and sizes when I was working as a virtual assistant. And more recently, I've helped lots of people strategize and plan out their launches. And I also regularly launch myself. So basically, I pull ideas from all over. That's what most people are doing most of the time, pulling ideas and putting a unique spin on them. So I don't have come up with many of these ideas, but it's all just a bit of a big melting pot in my head. I can't really credit any one person with any one thing. But my unique approach is doing it fast, launching faster, doing things quicker. And not all schools of thought when it comes to launching really lend themselves to this faster approach. So this training is what works for me and what works for my clients. And it's not super influenced by like any one person. Okay. Why is fast launching so great? Why have I created a training that I have called the Fast Guide to Launching? So these are what I think are the 4 main reasons, and there's kind of more, but we'll sort of cover those as we go as well. So 1, you don't have time to do a lot of worrying or freaking out. You kind of just have to get on with it. Now, when I was much younger, like when I was a teenager, I was a really big planner and I had to plan things out to feel comfortable. And various situations in my life have meant that I've kind of had to get used to winging it. And now it's kind of my preference because it's over and it's done so fast that you don't have a bunch of time to freak out and worry about it. The second reason why I love fast launching is it's so much less pressure for it to be a huge success. Because if I launch something this week and nobody buys it, it's okay. I'll launch something else next week and probably the week after. Whereas people who spend 3, 4, 5 months planning out these huge launches, if those then don't do as well as they hoped or needed them to do, then that's so much more like disheartening. Anne Wells just said, fail fast. Yes, I absolutely agree with that sentiment. The third reason I love fast launching is so that you can launch more regularly, you can launch more stuff, and it's more likely that you'll offer something that a wider variety of your audience will be interested in. And this also helps keep them engaged. So if I think about people in the online business world who launch fairly regularly, if I'm not interested in what they're currently doing, I'm interested to see what they're going to next offer because I know that they're going to bring something else in a couple of weeks that might be interesting to me. So I see it as being able to serve more people who are in my world because I'm creating more things, I'm getting them out faster, and I can therefore help more people with more things. And the fourth reason why I really love fast launching is because you basically get to feel like a rock star who's totally bossing this having a business thing. There is something so satisfying about the productivity that comes with getting something out quickly. If you can go from idea to action quickly, you basically just feel like you're winning at life. And if you haven't experienced it yourself yet, hopefully by the end of this training, you're going to attempt your own fast launch and you're going to get this feeling too. Okay, so I want to just pause again. We're going to get to the good stuff. I think it's on the next slide, but I want to pause again. I want to talk about common themes that are going to come up multiple times in this training. They come up multiple times in any training coaching strategy that I do. And I think they're just really good things for business. Like these are good things to remember. So I just want to quickly go over them. The first is don't ever do anything in your business that you don't enjoy other business owners doing. So if you're not sure to try a strategy or try a tactic or shouldn't I do this, I always like to think about a time when someone has done that I have experienced and how it made me feel. If I liked it or I was indifferent to it, absolutely go ahead. But if you don't like it when other people do it, and then you do it yourself, you're going to be so out of alignment and it's just not really going to work for you. You're always going to feel a bit icky about it. So the example I always use for this is that if you have videos that autoplay on sales pages, the conversion rates, it's been like proven, the conversion rates for that sales page are significantly higher. But personally, and this is totally personal, you don't have to agree with me on this. Personally, I hate it when videos autoplay on sales pages, any pages, to be honest, I hate it. So if I were to put a video that autoplays on my sales page, that would be out of alignment for me because I don't love it. So when I don't know what to do, I always think, and I always challenge people to think about other businesses and how they find it when they do it. The second common thing I want you to remember is that you are the expert on your business. You're the expert in what you do, but you're also the expert on your business. There is absolutely no right or wrong way to do anything. No part of a launch is essential, except probably a way to receive money. Be wary, please be wary of anyone who ever tells you that you must do something in order to succeed, because it's just not true. This training is, think of this training as more of a collection of suggestions. Here are some stuff, take what you want, add your own ideas to it and find your own style. But you're the expert on your business. There is no right or wrong way. There's no one way to do anything. And lastly, related but a little different, always check in with your intuition. If something feels wrong, you need to pause and you need to course correct. If something feels super intriguing but kind of ridiculous, I do encourage you to follow that idea and see what happens with it. If you're launching 2 to 3 times as often as you would be otherwise, then you've got loads more room to experiment with different things. I always say that I follow my intuition, especially when it makes least sense. And that's usually where the good stuff is. Okay, so on to the process. Oh, I'm just going to check the comments. Lorna says, this is so true. Recently, I realized I don't need to do it precisely the way the online course guru's course tells me to, because I have my own objectives. I'll keep more material evergreen than I originally planned. Absolutely, absolutely. Like, I fully encourage you to take what you like and sprinkle your own magic to it and do it like that. Like, don't, if someone tells you you have to do it a certain way, it's just not true. Okay, step 1 to the fast launch. Okay, confirm what you're launching. So confirm what you're launching, confirm what you're offering. This isn't really a training about creating stuff. That's a future one I'm going to do. But here's basically how I do it. So I have the idea. Whatever the idea is, usually the ideas like come to me, but they might be on a bit of paper and it's like go time for that particular idea. So I jot down what's going to be included. This is the practical details. So it's going to have a Facebook group. It's going to have 2 group calls. I'm going to offer 2 weeks email support, like whatever's going to be included in it. Then secondly, if you're getting any good ideas about early bird bonuses or different tiers or anything fun it would be to do that's not specifically to do with what's included, make sure you capture those too. The next one, where people often freak out, you pick a price. Now, it's going to sound like a bit of a cop-out, but you just pick a price that feels good. The price doesn't super matter. The price is just positioning. You just pick a price that feels good. Don't overthink it. This is all about picking up speed. And then lastly, for confirming what you're launching, you look at what you've written down. So it's kind of just like jotted down on a bit of paper or on a document. Does it feel good? Does this feel exciting? Are you hyped about this? If the answer is yes, it's go time. Proceed to the step 2. If you feel a bit iffy about it, or something's just not quite right, and this will come in time, you'll learn to trust your intuition more and more. I encourage you to either sleep on it, like it doesn't have to be done today. It can wait till tomorrow, sleep on it and give some more time to think if it's right or not. Another option is to put it on an ideas list and don't launch it right now. And the other option is to rejig it until it feels good. please, please, please do not launch something that you're not super hyped about. It will not be anywhere near as successful. You want to be fast launching the stuff that you literally can't focus on any of your other work until this thing is out in the world. So I'm super in tune with my intuition about this stuff these days. And if I know for me that if I have to sit down and plan for it, like plan what's going to go into it for more than a couple of minutes, the idea is not really like cooked yet. Whereas sometimes I'll have a vague idea for a couple of months. Rock Your Tech Specialism is an example of this. Like I kind of wanted to teach people how to specialize in a tech system. And then one day, usually in the shower, that's where I have my shower thoughts, it just kind of like downloaded, fully formed into my head. So I knew what it was going to be called. I knew exactly what it was going to include, the setup, everything. Now, it will take more practice to get that good at like knowing what to do, but if you're not super hyped about it, don't launch it. It's going to save yourself a lot of headaches. Catherine, I'm going to answer a question later. Lorna, pricing's given a lot of grief. Asha said, on pricing, do you go look at the pricing of other courses that have similar amount of content, even though it'll be different content, of course? Not really. I mean, I'm not super bothered what other people are doing. If I'd have gone and looked at how much people charge for a 90-minute training on like for today, I would have probably come out with a very, very different price point. It doesn't super matter. And the more you launch and the more you do, you may make pricing mistakes in air quotes. I don't really believe in mistakes per se, but I think you just pick a price that feels good. Don't get super into seeing what other people are charging. If you do want to go and look at what other people are charging, I really encourage you to also see what, if you tend to follow women in the online business world, I encourage you to also go and look and see what men in the online business world are charging for an equivalent amount, because often it is quite different. So don't get too hung up on the pricing. Just pick a price, and the price you've put is part of the wait a sec, does this feel good? Does this look right? And it could be the price that you need to like rejig a little bit more. Yeah, like I do find that men charge a little bit more than women. It's just one of those things, isn't it? Yeah, so I just encourage you to, if you do tend to follow women, make sure you have a slightly broader spectrum of what like price points people are doing. If you don't really follow men, go and see what they're doing too. Okay, that is step one. Step two, I kind of call this the pre-launch phase. And I think of the pre-launch phase is the period of days or weeks immediately before you open the cart. And opening the cart is when they can buy the thing you're selling. So with a really fast launch, you may or may not have a pre-launch phase, and you may do what I call like pre-launch activities whilst the cart is open. I don't like this expression, cart is open, but hopefully everyone knows what it means. And if you don't know what I mean, what is this cart and why is it open? Like, why would you close a cart? What does this mean? Put it in the chat and I will explain more clearly what that means. So I think of the like pre-launch phase as having three main purposes, and it can run, like I said, whilst the cart is open. So the first purpose it has is it gets people super hyped about what you're going to be offering, and it provides them free value so that they can build this know, like, and trust factor with you. They can see what you're all about. They can see how you teach, how you talk. Do they hate your voice, but they're signing up for something where they have to listen to you for an hour a week? Like things like that. Like you're getting people hyped, you're building the energy, you're building the buzz, and you're kind of showing people what you're all about as it relates to the product or service you're going to be selling. The second purpose of pre-launch content is that it allows you to support people to get to the point where they're ready for what you're offering. So literally, what do they need to know or do or whatever before they would be ready to buy this product or service? And it also, I like to think of it as you're giving people the necessary information to decide if it's what they want, if it's what they need, what they want. So you're supporting people to make the best decision for them. And that should always be to support them to make the right decision for them, including if that is not buying. Like, I'm not into pushing people to buy anything, as you probably noticed at this point. And the last reason why a pre-launch phase, whenever it kind of happens, is really good is because it gives your list a bit of a boost right before you launch, which means new subscribers, new blood, new people to be interested in what you're doing. So, oh, I keep trying to click. Okay. Some ideas for this phase. Now, you can use these in combination, you can have your own ideas, but these are the sorts of things you'll typically see. A free live challenge, maybe with a Facebook group as well. A webinar, that might be a masterclass, a workshop. I used to run parties. I used to call them parties before in my previous business because they didn't understand what a webinar was. A classic 3-part video series, Jeff Walker style. A new freebie of some sorts, that might be a PDF guide or a quiz or something like that. A pre-planned Facebook Live series. So this isn't quite the same as like hopping on live each day at a different time and saying stuff like this day I'm going to go live at this time and talk about this thing. That day I'm going to go live at that time and talk about that thing. A giveaway or a competition of some sort, or it could just be a series of emails. So everything works. There are no rules here. The important thing, okay, there's no rules and everything works, and you just have to pick some stuff and do what feels good. The important thing for the pre-launch phase is, where possible, you really, really, really want to be collecting people's email addresses. Even if you're doing a Facebook Live series, create a little landing page and collect email addresses so that you can email them 15 minutes before you go live. Now, some of these obviously take a lot more planning and time than others. Often I'll email my list, post everywhere, allow people to start buying, and then I might have one of these in my back pocket if I want more sales. So the example I want to give for this is when I first launched ConvertKit Rockstars, which was my first group program I ever did. It was my first fast launch. I emailed my list to announce it was open. I'd done a little bit of market research. I thought people were really hyped about it. Emailed my list, opened it up for sale, was expecting it to sell out very quickly. I had one sale on the first day and I was super hyped about that. And then it was silent for a few days. And I just felt so incredibly annoyed at myself that I help people launch all the time. But I had this, I felt so stupid that I just thought it would be fine and people would buy. So I know that was silly to feel silly about that, but there was this one weekend and I just felt so stupid that I thought I could just open the doors and people would buy it. So that weekend I planned a Facebook Live series teaching people about ConvertKit. That actually added about 100 new people to my list in a couple of days. I did the lives Monday to Thursday. And I think it was just before the Wednesday one I went live, I'd actually sold out ConvertKit Rockstars, the first round. And all I needed to do was get the energy up, get my energy up, the buzz up, and provide value whilst demonstrating my skills. So if you're not planning to take this, what you're here for now, the Fast Guide to Launching, it didn't really have any pre-launch stuff. I sent 2, maybe 3 emails. But I do recommend having a little something in your back pocket in case you want to pick it up and it's not going quite how you want, just to avoid, I don't know, feeling a bit silly. That would just be my advice to you. Catherine's asked, what are your thoughts about a pop-up Facebook group? I quite like them. What are your thoughts about a pop-up Facebook group would be my question. Do you like them? Do you not like them? That's the real question. I think they work. I think they're good for some people. You have to decide if that's how best you can support them. Kat, I'm comfortable pricing my coaching packages, including high, but I balk when it comes to product launches, which is ridiculous. Yeah, it is ridiculous. You just pick a price. You just pick a price. And if you're really uncomfortable picking a price, you pick a lower price, and next time you launch something, you pick a higher price. Neve said, love this idea of pulling one out your back pocket if sales aren't high. Yeah, I from personal experience, I really do encourage you to, even if you're not planning to use it, just spend like 5 minutes being like, okay, next week, which of these things could I do if I wanted to, had to, needed to, whatever. Catherine said, Facebook pop-up groups talking about, I like them, but I wonder how people feel when they close, and how do you end up just giving all the strategies away in the group? Do whatever demonstrates your skills. I like that way of thinking. We can talk about this a little bit more in the Q&A, Catherine. I think you've got some, how do you get people hyped without giving away everything? That's a really good question. Okay, so that's step 2. This is step 2, the pre-launch phase. Catherine, you might have to remind me of your questions because you asked me one before, which I've already slightly forgotten, but Emma might be able to grab it and put it in a different chat box. Okay. Okay, step 3. Now, creating urgency. I have the most unbelievable love-hate relationship with urgency as a concept. Some days I legit think it's the grossest marketing tactic on the planet, and other days I think that when it's used right, it can really support people to make good decisions for their lives and their businesses. So you've got to find your own personal line on this, and it's okay to do some experimenting. So Kathy said, I hate false scarcity. Yep, I agree. I hate false scarcity too. But what counts as false scarcity and not can be up for discussion. It's a very grey area. And I just want to say, I'm not like pro urgency. I'm saying it works, but you need to find a way to make it work that feels good for you. So that said, urgency in basically all of its forms really does sell like nothing else. And it's the singular best marketing sales tactic out there that I have come across, that I've seen in action, that I've used myself, depending on if you do or don't want to use it. So here's just some examples of how to create urgency in your launch. An early bird price. So the price of the thing goes up after a certain date. Early bird bonuses. So these disappear after a certain date. Bonuses for the first X number of people that sign up. I really don't recommend having a lower price for the first X number of people that sign up because, I don't know, that feels really weird to me. But maybe it doesn't to you. The thing about the bonuses for the first X number of people who sign up, especially if that takes your time to provide those bonuses, that might be a 30-minute call, or you'll provide Voxer support or something like that. That could be a good one there. A limited number of spots that you can support to do this service or whatever you're launching, or a limited number of spots at a higher tier, which does take your one-to-one time or group time. A limited time on an extended payment plan. So with my most recent launch, Collective Momentum, I suppose this was my most recent launch, but the one before this one, it was still only like 2 weeks ago. Collective Momentum launch, each month, there was like 1 month less that the payment plan stretched. The next way, this is the next one is the doors are going to close and they won't reopen until a future point. You don't have to state the future point, but the doors are going to close and you won't be able to get in. The doors are going to close and the price will increase when they reopen. And this may include lifetime access, grandfathering them in at price, and so on. Nicholas asked, what's your favorite way to create urgency? So it entirely depends on what I'm offering. Like for this training today, it's happening today. The urgency is that if you want to come along live, have the opportunity to come live and ask your questions, it's happening today. And then I also have paired that with the early bird bonus. So after today, it's going up to $97. They all work. You just have to find what feels good to you. And I know feeling good feels like such a cop-out, but honestly, that is the answer for most things in business. So what you're trying to avoid, a couple of little extra thoughts on urgency. What you're trying to avoid with urgency is anyone ever having a better deal in the future than if they bought right now. So now should always be the best time to buy or an equivalent time to buy. So it's not going to get cheaper. There's not going to be more bonuses, etc. in the future. And this doesn't just go for this launch. This goes for all future launches of this program. But obviously, if you change the offer a bit, if there's one-to-one support or group calls or different bonuses, etc., like you can mix it up like that. But now should always be the best time to buy. Otherwise, you're going to have unhappy customers and clients. Take a sip of water. And one other thing I just want to talk about, because I see people doing this and it drives me insane. It's totally fine to add a new bonus later on in a launch. So for example, everyone who joins the next 24 hours will get this new bonus. But it should go without saying that everyone who has already bought should also be given that bonus. And I really would recommend, if you're going to add bonuses later in the launch, that you make it explicitly clear that everyone who's bought to this point or to the point in 24 hours is going to get that bonus. Because what otherwise happens, I do this, just top tip from my brain. If someone says anyone who buys in the next 24 hours will get this bonus, I immediately go, yeah, but what about all the people before? That would be unfair. Oh my gosh, she's going to give it to the people before. And then my brain goes into overdrive trying to work out if you're being a dick or not. And that's not good for business. So you always want to give stuff to the people who've bought it before if you add a new bonus. And I recommend making it clear so that people are not wondering if you're being rubbish, if that makes sense. And one last point on urgency, you want to always be rewarding action takers. Now, it's totally fine to build in more time because many people are slower decision makers. You just don't want to reward the late or the last minute people above the action takers. They can get the same, that's totally fine, but don't reward the people who sign up last or beyond last before the people who signed up first. Okay, so we may or may not have some urgency in our launch plan now. The next step is planning dates. So once I've got the plan, any early bird offers, any pre-launch stuff, I literally just get out my calendar and I look at the next couple of weeks and I just pick the dates that work for me. There is no point stressing yourself out too much or doing things at strange hours or, you know, cancelling things you've had in the diary for ages that you were looking forward to. This launch is supporting you, your business is supporting the rest of your life, and the dates are not super critical. But here's some rules of thumb to just like plan around. And I just want to remind you that context is everything. So what I say here, there may be a really obvious reason why that's not going to work for your business. So I do, oh, sorry. Give me 1 second, I'm going to pause for a second. Good now. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so give people a couple of days notice for a live event where you would ideally like them to show up live. So this is usually going to be a webinar or Facebook Live. I think this would also include like a challenge or something like that. Like give people a few days notice wherever possible. Live challenges usually start on a Monday, but there is absolutely no reason why you can't start it any other day. Any early bird offer should be available for at least 24 to 48 hours, not including weekends, to allow for time zones. The number of times I have been asleep and woken up to 3 emails that the early bird is closing and it was only open for 6 hours is ridiculous. Please be mindful. I'm a British person. We have audiences all over the world that not everyone is awake when you're awake. Your cart can be open for any length of time, but if you are planning for a cart open more than about 5 days for a bigger, faster launch, it can be really exhausting to like maintain your energy levels, maintain momentum. And you would then want to expect there to be quite a lull in the middle, and don't get disheartened if you don't get any sales on middle days. Don't close your cart at midnight if you don't want to stay up at midnight. I said this to a multi-six-figure business owner the other day, and it like blew her mind. You do not have to close things at midnight if you don't want to close things at midnight. There is no rule that says carts have to close at midnight, especially when we live in such a global world and time zones are a thing. And lastly, I really, really, really encourage you. There's several things that I would say are super important, but this is one of them. Give yourself at least a week after your launch to recover from it before you go into start to create whatever for whatever you've launched. And also, I find this is really, depending on what you're selling, it's really nice for your customers or clients to have a bit of a gap. If someone signed up for a bigger course or a bigger program, it can be really nice to give them a week or two to kind of prepare themselves for it. So for example, if I sign up for a bigger program and I think it's going to be really significant in my business and I'm going to show up and I'm going to do the work, I really like to go and get myself a brand new notebook. And if it starts the next day, then I didn't have time to get myself a new notebook, you know? So quite often, if you're launching something bigger, I do encourage A, giving yourself a rest, but B, your clients and customers may also thank you for that, that period for them to prepare themselves for what you're going to be doing with them. Lorna said, just want to check these. I'm going to keep the self-study version open, but remove the VIP level after a certain time as it will involve Facebook groups and calls. Yep, absolutely. If you're like, you having to show up and there's like with the false urgency thing, like even if you're not doing one-to-one calls or you're not doing group calls or anything like that, like holding space for people can be very draining. Like showing up and supporting a group of people through a change in their lives can be quite draining, and you get to decide how many people at any given time, especially if you're launching a new thing, you feel comfortable taking through that process. Couple more notes on dates. You do need to make sure that you can always close things within a couple of hours of when you said you would close it. So people really differ on hard close dates. So some people are like, if you say you're going to close it at a time, it needs to be closed at that exact time. I'm a little bit more flexible. Like I'll usually close it within a couple of hours of when I said I'd close it. And the reason for that is because when I'm buying courses or stuff, this is exactly in action how I think about what do I mind other businesses doing this or not. So if I'm buying a course or stuff, there's been several times where I've gone to the sales page maybe an hour after the advertised close time and it was still there and I could still buy it. And there's a couple of occasions I can really think of where I did go ahead and buy it and I thought it was a sign and I was super hyped that I did go ahead and buy it. So you have to decide for you on that one how you feel about the like hard close at the advertised time. And the last point on this, and I'm going to answer these questions, make sure that you do pick the final cutoff date before you start if unlimited numbers of people can sign up. If you don't do that, it makes you look and feel a bit indecisive and like you're going for as many people as you can get. So I don't recommend going into a launch and then not knowing when it's going to end, because it's just not, it's not decisive energy. Like set up the boundaries of what you're doing and do it, you know, and people will respond well to that. Let me just hop through the questions. People clearly loved this bit. Kathy said, I'm seeing a lot of moving the dates at which early bird discounts apply, normally with an email saying, sorry, I messed up, so I'm opening it again, or extending the deadline, getting very cynical. It's funny you should say that, because I was going to put in this training and I took it out because I thought it was too cynical, but I'm going to say it now. Some people, and it basically from what I can tell, says this in Jeff Walker's launch book, or at least he's teaching it somewhere, I think, that there are a huge number of people who mysteriously have tech troubles at exactly the same time in the sequence of emails that goes into a launch. And I've had a client in the past who we had a teeny tech wobble, and they then kind of planned that this tech wobble was going to mean that the cart was open longer, and I was not into that at all. So yeah, like, there are occasions where things get messed up, life happens, and you do want to keep it open, but wherever possible, people like Kathy and probably me will be cynical about that kind of thing. It's exactly the same as when people send out wrong links and then seconds later send another email. They're like, whoops, wrong link. And then those get opened really high. You're just like, yeah, but did you really mean to send it the first time or not? Was it an accident? You know, you have to find your own balance on it. Lene said, I appreciate having a few hours after the deadline too. Bought a few things like that. Yeah, if you are cool when other businesses do it, absolutely feel free to do it in your business. I don't think it's a big deal. Several people are loving this concept of like recovery time, prep time for everyone involved. Wait, I swear. Oh, yeah, Brian said this too. Prep time for collecting momentum was very important. Great insight. Yeah, I've been in several courses that have had 4 to 6 weeks prep time for big courses, big programs. And I really appreciated that time because it meant I could tie up other loose ends in my business. Kat said, I hate getting sorry or oops messages, especially when I'm 99% sure they were pre-planned. Yeah, I agree. Neve said, I've actually for reals had tech troubles that changed the dates and felt awful because of all the boys crying wolf and making it feel fake. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have to, we've all got the same options, circumstances happen, we just get to decide what feels best for us to do right now, and we just kind of have to go with that. Okay, that's step 4. So we planned out the dates. Step 5, creating your to-do list. Take a sip of water again. Okay, so you know what you're offering, you've got a price, a pre-launch plan maybe, and your dates are decided. Now you're going to create your to-do list. So you want to grab a piece of paper or a document on your computer and divide it into 3 columns. The headings for these columns are essential, would be nice, and one day. Essential is every task that is absolutely essential for you to do before you can launch it. This differs for everyone, but it's usually going to include setting up a way to receive money or maybe for them to apply, setting up a thank you page and a welcome email of some sort, and any admin bits like letting your VA know what's happening. Hey VA, sorry, we're launching today. I had a great idea in the shower. Or telling people who are going to get free access to it, for example, before you launch it, because otherwise they might buy it, because that's happened to me before. The essential list can also include anything you're super hyped about and you totally don't want to launch until you've done it. So this is like fun launch stuff. So for me and this launch, it was about creating this graphic of a sloth on the rocket. This took me an hour. It took me 30 minutes to figure out how to, like, in Photoshop or whatever I was using, to like get the rocket under the sloth. And then it took me legit another half an hour to find the perfect rocket. So that was an essential part of this launch, honestly, as far as I was concerned, because it felt so fun once I'd had the idea. So that's the first list. The second list is the would be nice list. So this is everything you should probably do. Usually it's stuff that's more planning or stuff that's kind of boring, but you know it's going to help you make more sales down the line. And people are loving the sloth. I really appreciate this, you guys. I'm so proud of it. It's unbelievable. And I have a graphic designer friend who liked my post, and I was so embarrassed that my graphic designer friend liked this post where I so proudly had created this graphic. Anyway, okay, would be nice. The boring stuff. The stuff you should do, the stuff that will probably help you get more sales. And lastly, if you've had any other ideas that aren't really either of those categories, but it's about what you're offering, things that would be fun to do in the future, different launch ideas, but not for now, jot them down on the one-day list so that you capture them. So here you can see on this slide how I categorize the tasks for this launch, for the Fast Guide to Launching. This is an example, yours will be different. So essential, I need to set up the checkout payment page in Samcart, had to set it up in Demio, integrate that to the payment page and through Zapier and link it to ConvertKit. Create a simple promo graphic for social media, that's the sloth on the rocket. I had to let people who were going to get it for free know that. So I gifted this training to everyone in my Collective Momentum program because it's super useful for lots of them. So I had to let them know so they don't excitedly buy it, which has happened, and then you have to refund people. And then I also had to write the initial email and post. And then in the Would Be Nice list, I wanted to set up an order bump for the affiliate marketing training I did before. I wanted to create a proper sales page. I wanted to email my affiliates and let them know I'm launching this. Wanted to draft out all my sales emails, and I wanted to set up a Facebook pixel. And then the one day, maybe I should put it in Teachable. Maybe I'll add a one-to-one call upsell. Okay, let me just check. Hang on, I got distracted because you're all chatting and it's super fun. Okay, Monday, let's capture it. Categorize this. Okay, so once you've done that, you got your 3 lists. These are the rules. These are the rules. I'm not into rules usually, but these are the rules to make this work. You work through the essentials list first. Don't worry about the other 2 problems. Don't stress. You've got the information captured there. You give the essentials your full attention. You work through them, as quickly as possible. So now you've done the essentials, and now you hit send or publish and you launch and it's go time. I know. What about all the would-be nices? They weren't essential. They weren't essential. They were would-be nice. You've already done the essentials. Now it's launch time. And most of the essentials you can usually add in later anyway, if you really want to or need to. This is the fast lane after all. This is what fast launching is all about. Getting through the essentials and then hitting go. Now you have to promise me that you'll launch at the end of the essentials list. And you can't cheat by putting the would-be nice stuff in the essentials list. That completely defies the point. You have to be as ruthless as possible about what's essential. I will say, before anyone says, that I did set up the order bump to this training. So I did do number 1 on the would-be nice. It took me like 5 minutes though. But other than that, none of the things on that would be nice list happened. And I don't know about you, but they all look pretty essential for a launch, but they weren't essential because you're still all here and this particular fast launch was still a success. This is the key to fast launching. It's go time at the end of the essentials. This is like the main thing. You get to the end of the essentials, you have to launch. That's the rules. Right, I'm going to nip through the things. Okay. Lene enjoys the oops, I messed up messages. If they seem faked, intentional, bye forever. Who does that though? I mean, people do. I'm 95% sure some people pre-plan their whoops messages. Ash said, Lizzie, does Samcart include upsells like the one-to-one call upsell mentioned here? Yes, on the higher level plans it does. Not in Samcart Basic though, I don't think. The other problem with regularly changing closing dates and planned oops messages is that you're training your list that they can wait to buy. That's a really good point, Kat. And thank you for sharing that. That's really good. So Neve, so one day would be ideas for future launches of the same product. Yeah, like any extra ideas you're having that you just want to capture. Like sometimes, I don't know if you're like me, but I like to capture the ideas and then they stop swirling in my head. Once I know it's written down somewhere, I can kind of let go from it swirling. Then I said sometimes the people who get it for free will not read the email and still buy it, and then you have to refund them. It was the laser guide to affiliate marketing. I gifted that to everyone in Rock Your Tech Specialism because it was repurposed from a module in Rock Your Tech Specialism. And it was super cute, but like 3 people bought it and I had to refund them all because they were going to get it for free. So that's the thing that happens when you've, got people who are loving what you're doing. Catherine says, ooh, super curious. You don't see a sales page or sales emails as essential. We'll talk about the sales page. No, I don't see sales page as essential. I will cover that in a moment. Do I see sales emails as essential? I don't see drafting them all out before I start as essential. So this process, I wrote the first email to everybody, and then like I was kind of like, I should probably email them in like 2 days. And then I sat down and wrote that email, but it wasn't planned. And I think I planned to send it a day before I did because something else happened. You know, the plan of drafting them out, I don't think is essential for a fast launch. It would be nice. Neve says, I'm impressed. I always get bogged down in the would be nice's feeling essential. You have to be ruthless. It's hard and it takes practice to be ruthless, but you have to be so ruthless about what's essential. Ash said, my very strong opinion on Facebook Pixel, you should do it immediately before you even think about a launch. If you ever want to run an ad, Facebook needs time to be gathering info so you can target specific audiences in your ad. So it can be logging the folks who like your Facebook page, those who click on things, etc. Setting up a pixel is super easy. So yes, I do agree with that. So I do have a Facebook pixel on my site, and I did run a couple of ads for the Fast Guide to Launching to people who visited my sites in the last 60 days. But, you know, set up a Facebook pixel may be essential for you. Setting up the custom audiences and whatnot may be essential. I'm just saying, for me in this particular launch, it would be nice. Lorna said, can you explain what a Facebook pixel is? A Facebook pixel is, if you're running Facebook ads, it tracks who visits different pages on your site and then links to their Facebook account so that you can send them pixels if they, send them adverts, show them adverts if they went to certain pages on your site. Catherine said, this is so freeing. What does Facebook Pixel mean, an order bump for affiliate marketing training? Okay, so the Facebook Pixel I've just explained. It's if you're not running Facebook ads, don't worry about the Facebook Pixel. Facebook ads do cost money, yes. The order bump is when the people who bought this training went to the page with the information to pay and they put in their details, there was a button that said, would you also like the Lazy Guide to Affiliate Marketing for $47, usually $97. And if they clicked that, then they got access to this and the Lazy Guide to Affiliate Marketing training. And that process of at the checkout, clicking something else as well just before you buy is called an order bump. So it's kind of like how they put sweets at the shop checkout so that you grab some sweets as you're checking out. Sunny has asked, is it the price point that determines whether or not you need a sales page? No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is the price point, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in the future. The sales page, I've got a slide about sales pages, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get there. If I don't, remind me. Okay, so that's it. This is the guide to, this is the fast launching. You get to the end of essentials, and it's go time. Okay, so your fast launch is now totally planned out. So that's it. You've got your to-do list, you've got your plan. Now you just need to implement, and the faster the better to keep the momentum going. For reals, once you get good at this, you won't do this first round, but first go, but as you get good at fast launching, you can honestly go through this whole process, step 1 to 5, confirm your offer, decide about pre-launch activities, decide about urgency, plan the date, and write your essentials to-do list in 1 to 2 hours tops. Once you get good at it, that's all it's going to take to fully plan out your fast launch. It will take you a bit longer the first time for sure, but don't let it take too long because then you're just drifting off into planning and procrastinating land, I can guarantee it. Okay. Just going to take a sip of water. We're going into a different section now. So this is the planning. We've got the Facebook launch. The Facebook launch. Sorry, I just read Kat's message about Facebook pixels. We've got the launch, the fast launch planned out. We are ready to go. So, setting goals. Now, before we move on, I want to talk super quickly about goal setting. Not everyone sets goals for launches, and I think that's a massive error. Goal setting is super important because it's really difficult to motivate yourself on the inevitable emotional roller coaster that is a launch when you're not even really sure where you're going, like where you're heading. So you want to be setting 2 or 3 different goals when launching, fast or otherwise. Every launch you do, you want to have 2 to 3 goals. So the first goal is, yeah, I should be able to do that with a bit of effort on my part. That's the first goal. That's like the non-negotiable minimum goal. The second goal is that would feel really good if I had that many people sign up. Like, that would be really nice. That's your main goal. That's the goal you're really going for. And then your third goal is the, holy shit, could you even imagine if that many people signed up? Could you imagine? Like, I would be winning at life. Like, I could take a holiday. You know, that level of holy shit, could you imagine? But it's just within the realms of possibility. That is your stretch goal. And if you achieve your second goal, then it's full steam ahead for your third goal. If you've got a limited number of spots, though, I recommend having your this would be good number. So that would be less than the full number, but you would feel good. That would be your main goal. And then your second goal, which is also kind of your main goal, but it's also your stretch goal, is completely selling it out. So that's just a little thing on goals. Don't proceed until you've set your goals. Basically, goal setting is very important. I'm not big on planning and all of this stuff, but do set your goals just so you know the parameters of what you're working in. Okay, mindset and manifesting. This is a slightly longer section, but I love it. It's one of my favorite things, especially clients that I work with. They love this stuff. So firstly, I'm a really firm believer in it being our duty to show up and do our work in the world, no matter how terrified we are, no matter how terrifying it is. I also believe that if we are gifted fully formed ideas that we're excited about, it's our duty to show up and create them or do them, no matter how scary it is. We want to be working in the terrified place where we also feel expansive. Like, that's honestly where the magic is. And it's the same place as the end of your comfort zone. That's the classic expression, like, it's the end of your comfort zone. But if you feel terrified, but it feels like expansive, holy shit, could you imagine if this works? That's where you want to be operating. Okay, so whenever I'm going into a launch or a client's going into a launch, I go through this second step with them. You want to spend some time really thinking about the people who are going to buy. You want to grab your main goal number. That was the second on the last slide. So you want to grab this. Yeah, that would feel really good if I had that many people sign up. You want to grab that number. And then so let's say it's 15 people. 15 people is your main goal. So you then want to be like, okay, there are 15 real people out there, real people who need what you're offering. Think about where they live. Think about where they like to sit in their house. Think about what their mornings look like. Think about what they say to their partner or to their kids. Think about them driving to the supermarket or getting the bus to town to see a friend for coffee. Think about all the mundane things in the lives of these 15 real people. Now, I want you to think about how they're going to hear about your launch. Is a friend going to send them a Facebook message? Are they going to be scrolling through their emails at an office job and see it? Are they going to see a Facebook ad? Are they going to be on a computer? Are they going to be on a phone? Is it morning? Is it evening? Are they in a rush? Or are they a bit more leisurely? Like, I really want you to think about what their lives, their mundane lives are like, and where they're going to be when they hear about what you're offering. And now I want you to picture them hearing about what you're offering. So hearing about your launch in whatever format you just imagined. This could be several people, or this could just be one person that you're imagining. Both work relatively well. So they see about your launch. What do they think? And what do they feel? Who do they excitedly tell? I want you to imagine them texting their partner to be like, oh my God, you have no idea what I manifested into my life today. Or journaling that evening. Oh my God, today was just the best. Today, I totally unexpectedly received an email about this thing and I'm going to sign up tomorrow. I'm so excited that I've manifested this. So you need to get into this energy, and you need to enjoy this energy of your future clients and customers. Because when you're in this energy, you're not selling anyone anything. They're manifesting you into their lives. You need to launch, you need to show up, you need to do the work so that you can reach them and be in front of them, and that they can then celebrate having manifested you at the perfect time for them. These are real people with real lives, and you need to think about them as real people with real lives who are just waiting to manifest you. It's your duty to get the word out there about what you're launching as far and as wide as you possibly can, because otherwise you're not going to get in front of them. So they can't manifest you. Don't know it's happening, you know? I have used this activity, this exercise with so many of my clients. I do it myself every time. And it just is so much easier to promote and sell when they're manifesting you. You have to go and do the work so that they can manifest you. It doesn't really feel like sales anymore, you know? People are loving this. So that makes me really happy, because I literally just got goosebumps reading it, and I'm not even launching anything right now. I love this stuff so much. Okay, so the final thing of this, because these are real people with real lives, every single launch, I like to get, hang on. So that's the first thing I do for any launch. And then the second thing I do, so let's say the goal is 15 people, or the stretch goal is 20. Let's say the goal is 15, the stretch goal is 20. I like to get a piece of paper, like a real actual piece of paper. This doesn't work on the computer. I can't tell you why, it just doesn't work on the computer. Then I write the name of the thing I'm launching at the top, usually with a heart. I might get out my red pen and put the hearts on it. Then I number 1 to my goal number. So in this example, the stretch goal is 20. I write that down 1 to 20. And I stick that list on my computer. I've got one at the moment for Collective Momentum. I've got all the names of all the people who signed up for Collective Momentum stuck on my computer from this activity. And every time someone buys, I write down their name on my piece of paper. And because they're real people who've said yes to what I'm offering, and I'm super grateful that they're there. And even when it feels kind of hard, if you've got, 2 names on there and you're going for 20, they were 2 real people with real names and real lives who've said yes to what you're doing, and there's more of them, and you just need to manifest in front of them. So I think most people who follow me are kind of open to this wooer stuff, and hopefully you can follow along even if you don't sort of believe in manifesting really. But basically it's your duty to be in front of people so that they are hyped, and then I like to track them as they come in, because the paper, I don't know, I swear by having a little bit of paper. Like, have a little bit of paper for any launch you do and write down their names, because there is such magic in writing down names. Names are our identities, names are who we are. So it has to be real paper. Yeah, Kat says needs real paper and physically writing, because you're dealing with real energy from real people, not digital people in a video game. So that is my relatively simple top tips for mindset and manifesting when it comes to a launch. Kind of no matter how big or how small. Now we're going to go into some way more practical stuff, but people love this section, so that makes me really happy because I love this section. Okay, back to real life. I mean, that was real life, but back to technical, logistical, other things. Emails. These are the emails that I may or may not use in a launch. These are typically emails you might want to use in a launch. You might not want all of them. You might want to add some more in, but these are the ones that you're generally going to be choosing from. So the first email, I usually send an announcement email. It's usually fairly short. It just outlines what I'm launching. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm sorry I'm emailing you twice in 2 days, but I've just got to tell you about this because I, follow the shower thoughts, and today this is what I'm launching. So I'd like to keep that fairly short. Sometimes I do include it in an email with longer stuff, but I don't go into loads of detail in that first email, even if there's other stuff in there. Another email I like to do is frequently asked questions email. So this is basically answering objections. So we are desperate to find excuses to not buy things, to not do things that we know are good for us, to not, develop ourselves. Like, we're desperate to not. We want to keep ourselves safe and in our comfort zone. So you want to answer as many questions as possible that people might give as reasons as to why they can't buy your thing. So, all your calls are on Tuesdays. I go to yoga on Tuesdays. I can't do it. I can't possibly do it. I go to yoga on Tuesdays, So you're just like, what if I can't attend the calls? You'll get a recording. You'll get my support in the Facebook group. There's the opportunity to ask questions in advance. Like, you answer the questions that people would use as objections to why they can't do it. Oh, I'm brand new to business. Can I do this if I'm brand new to business? I can't possibly do this if I'm brand new to business, right? And you're like, no, this is actually a great course for people who are brand new to business or brand new to this topic. It's going to be quite introductory, and then we're going on to some more advanced stuff. Like, you just want to be answering objections. I really like to do an email for who is this for and who is this not for. So this may, so for example, is, I don't know, collective momentum for you? And then you would list who it's for, the characteristics of who you think it's going to be for. And then for the who would this not be for, you want to think about the extremes. So the extremes are, if you've already got it figured out, this is not for you. If you are an absolute hot mess and you can't imagine spending an hour a week working on this, this is not for you. You're basically just trying to get the extremes to self-select themselves out because you're not going to have much success with them anyway, and make the people who are in the middle, who are perfect, realize it's for them because they're not one of the extremes. And then another thing I often include in the who is it for and not for email is what you don't need. So this is, again, a bit of an objection thing, but I'm kind of answering myths. You don't need much time. You don't need much space to do these exercises. You don't need a budget for Facebook ads. Like, anything that people think they might, I'd obviously need that too, or I won't be able to do it because you can list in the what you don't need. I don't do this as much. It's not quite my business model, but it works very well for a lot of people. Have an email that's about your personal story or behind the scenes of why you have created this particular thing you're offering. So it's about you, why you created it. You're kind of like lifting the veil on the inner workings of your head. That can be a really good email. Any relevant case studies or testimonials or anything like that. If you've not launched this specific thing before, do you have any case studies or testimonials that are related or relevant? And then you're also going to want to send some last chance emails. Now, I probably wouldn't, looking at this now, I probably wouldn't say it's your last chance. I may do, it depends on what I'm selling and what it is. But you want to send some last chance emails, and you want to be sending these both for early bird offers that are going to expire and for the main launch close. And I'm going to grab some examples of each of these email types that I have sent before and pop them into a PDF as a bonus for you. So you'll get that. I'll probably do it tomorrow because it's quite late now, to give you some real examples of how these emails look now that I've talked you through them. So I'm just going to answer Catherine's question. Oh, is it one email per bullet point? Yeah, most of those would be one email. The personal story behind the scenes, maybe 2 separate emails. You may do 2 case study emails. It really depends. If you're launching like super fast, I think I've sent I'm not even sure if I think I've sent one email to a section of my list that was solely about the fast guide to launching. So it really depends what's going on, how you're doing it. Okay, so with the exception of the day the cart closes or the day the early bird ends, I wouldn't recommend sending more than one email a day because people get overwhelmed about that sort of thing. But honestly, how you pace the emails is totally up to you. And if you're doing other launch activities like the pre-launch stuff we talked about and such, whilst the cart is still open, you're going to want to be mindful of how much your most interested people are receiving. So if you're doing like a Facebook Live series, you would send an email every day, but you wouldn't then also want to send a separate launch email every day because your most interested people are going to get 2 emails a day for like 3 days, and it's going to be a lot. Another tip for this is, depending on which email service provider you use, obviously I use and teach ConvertKit, but it works in a lot of systems. I like to tag every person who clicks the link through to the sales page at any point during the launch. And then I also grab the people who've been engaging with the pre-launch content. So maybe they signed up for the webinar or whatever. And then both these two groups together, people who click to the sales page, people who are engaging in the content, I like to think of that group as extra warm. And I may send them a couple of extra emails. So depending how bold you feel on the final day, you may want to send a reminder to everyone in the morning, an extra reminder to the warmest people in the middle of the day, and then a final reminder again in the afternoon or evening. And depending on your fast launch plan, emails may be the bulk of your marketing, or they may be a smaller part. But just a reminder that you have experienced enough launches in terms of people have launched stuff at you. Gosh, that sounds awful. People are launching stuff at you, but you know what I mean. During your business lifetime, to know how launches work and to really know what you do and don't like. So if you hate it when people send 4 emails on the final day without giving you an option to stop receiving emails about it, probably don't do that yourself. But if you see an email during someone's launch that you're like, oh, that's a really good email, I really liked that one, even if you don't sign up, you just liked the email, then I recommend swiping it and keeping a copy of it so that you can be inspired by that for your own emails. I'm just going to nip through the questions. Catherine asked, over what period of time do you send all these emails, a week or 2? Depends how long the cart is open, the launch is planned for. Usually I plan out the key dates in the planning section, and then I usually just kind of like, honestly, I'm just like, I should probably email my list today. I should probably email them tomorrow. Like, I'm really super flexible about it. Sometimes I have planned out a little bit more, and usually I completely ignore that plan when I get there, but depends what feels good to you. Catherine's asked, what are the average email and click-through rates for launch emails? Honestly, I can't really say. There's too many variables. There's way too many variables. It doesn't really matter. You're trying to get people engaged. You want to write as good subject lines as possible, but the actual numbers don't like super matter. The number of people who sign up matters. Ash said, this is a great suggestion about not sending more than 1 email a day. I'll see your launches in my email and Facebook groups, and if you run any ads, so I'm truly seeing you several times a day. That's true. That's another factor. So if you are launching in several places, pages, ads, groups, etc., then some people are going to see it a lot, which is a good thing, but you also don't want to like completely bore them out with your launch. Then I said, what tag names do you use to identify warmness? So for this launch, I've just used a tag that's called clicked : fast launching. That's what the tag was called for everyone who clicked through to the sales page. And then a couple of hours ago, I sent an email to everyone who clicked, who had that tag, everyone who bought the affiliate marketing training before. And then I've got a couple of interest tags. One's for launching, didn't know I had it, found it, looked good. And one about people who are interested in courses and bundles and that kind of thing. And I sent it to all of those people, minus the people who've bought. It was about 130. And I'm like, hey, we're starting in 90 minutes. Do you want it? And a couple of people have actually bought off the back of that email. I think 3, maybe 4 people have bought off the back of that email. And Mel, these people who you're sending additional emails to must be on your list because you can't reach warm people on Facebook. These are people on my list, yes, in this example, we're talking about emails, but you can send direct Facebook ads to people who have viewed the sales page, but have not also been tracked by the Facebook pixel that they've landed on the thank you page. So you can kind of do it for Facebook ads too if you want. Yeah. Okay, that's emails. Sales pages. So like I said, you don't always need a sales page. Sometimes a Facebook post, an email, and a PayPal button is enough. Sometimes a SAM car or a Thrive car or some other type of checkout page is enough. The Fast Guide to Launching is an example of there wasn't a proper sales page at any point. Think of any time you've ever bought something, including now, without there being a proper sales page. So, for example, my coach sent me a Facebook message and a PayPal button, and I paid her. And this honestly works from like a $9 thing through to like, I mean, I see people selling masterminds in the tens of thousands and they haven't yet got a sales page and spots are already selling. So it's not a price point thing as to if it needs a sales page or not. And there are no universal rules with this where it must follow. So that you must follow. So if you want to do a sales page, it feels like a thing to do a sales page for, do a sales page. If you want to start with a PayPal button and then do a sales page later, that's also fine. If you just only want to do PayPal buttons and then you're sold out whatever you're doing, that's also fine. Lorna said, I've signed up with Teachable, so we'll be doing sales pages on that. Yep, that works fine. That's good. There's no essentials. A PayPal button or some way to pay is essential. And then if a full sales page is on the would be nice list, you hit launch with a PayPal button and then do the sales page at a later future point. I don't know, like I just intuitively know if I'm going to do a sales page or not. One thing I can tell you, I'll tell you one of the vague ways I know how to do it. Rock Your Tech Specialism had a full sales page. And the reason it had a full sales page was because I was obsessed with the unicorn graphics that I bought from Creative Market. And I'm like, I've got so many cute graphics here and I need a full page to get all these graphics on because it's so cute. So it wasn't really for the copy, but I knew it was going to be a bigger course and a bigger thing. But I wanted to get more graphics on, and that's legit why that had a sales page. These things I knew were much smaller launches, so they didn't, but there are no rules. Okay, music to my ears, sales page take me years. It's easy to get stuck endlessly perfecting the sales page. It definitely is. It's a quicker decision to buy without, Kathy says, it's a quicker decision to buy without a sales page. Sometimes trawling through all the text on a sales page can distract, especially if you're keen to buy. I think that's a really good point. Kat says, I have a coach friend that sells a lot of quick, small launch trainings just using PayPal Me. Yep, that works too. Lorna gets kind of tired of the really long, repetitive sales pages. I'm not a big fan of the really long, repetitive ones, which is why I don't use them myself, basically. So Ash is also addicted to Creative Market. I know, it's so good for graphics. That's where the slots came from too. So yeah, but let's talk about what would go on a sales page if you did do a sales page, or what goes into sales copy if you're gonna tell people what they're buying. So the first thing you want to talk about, all of these are optional. You can mix and match, you can change the order. This is just a fairly standard layout overview. So what problem does it solve? So like you want to talk about the problems they've got. I am not into pushing pain points or any of that sort of thing. I'm just sort of I talk about like problems as kind of getting their attention, that you understand what's going on for them. Fabiana's asked, needs to leave, will there be a recording? Yes, there'll be a recording. I'll send it out later this evening. Bye for now. Thank you for joining. The second thing that you may want to put on a sales page is a picture of what life will be like afterwards. So that's the result. An overview of what's covered. So the way I was taught this by my coach, which I love, and I've seen other people give variations of it, is write, she calls them benefit sentences. So I will teach you or show you something so that something. So I will teach you how to launch fast so that you can help more people and get your gifts into the world. Like, you just need to elaborate a smidge more on what you're going to show them, because it's not super obvious to everybody. The next thing is you're going to want a list of features or how it actually works or what's actually included. So this is where you're going to say Facebook groups. This is where there's going to be a Facebook group. There's going to be a one-to-one call. There's going to be a weekly PDF module or a video. Like, this is the details. And it is also a good idea there to explain why you've included each thing. So a Facebook group so that you can ask me any of your questions. Module, like PDF modules, so that you can, I don't know, get to grips with the material before a group call. Like, it helps to explain why. Then you're probably going to want a bit about why you're the person to help them with this. Now, if you've only, if you're launching to people who know who you are, you may not need to tell them who you are, if that makes sense. So Collective Momentum, there was nothing about me really on the Collective Momentum sales page, because I was really only interested in having people who already knew who I was sign up for that. Then you're going to want to clearly state the price, and if there's going to be a payment plan or anything like that, if the price is going to go up, whatever, just clearly state the price. Then you're going to want to say next steps. So if you want to sign up, click the buy button, then you'll receive a welcome email. You'll be added to the Facebook group in the next week, like however it's going to work. We start on whatever date, just explain how it's going to work. And then you want to have, if you've got any related or relevant testimonials, then a frequently asked questions section. So this is very similar to the email, and you can use the copy from the sales page and the copy from the email interchangeably. This is addressing any objections people might have. And I'm just going to say this because I did not realize for the longest time that you don't have to be asked a question to put it on the frequently asked questions page. Like, I just had this really silly idea that every frequently asked question had legit been asked at least like twice. And that's not true. You get to make up the frequently asked questions. You're preempting what people might ask you to save yourself some like sales conversation time. And then if you're offering one, you want to put in the refund policy or a guarantee, or if you're having one, and any other terms and conditions or legals that you need on the page. And that's it. You just sort of do those bits, and then you order them, look nice, and then ta-da, do you want it? Like, that's the basics of a sales page. Obviously, they can get a hell of a lot more fancy. You can pay people thousands to write them and design them, but that's the basic overview I usually include on a sales page. Okay, tech setup. So we're nearly there. There's like a few more slides just to keep you with me. Tech setups. Tech setup, it largely depends on what you're selling, if it already exists or not, and if it doesn't exist yet, how you're planning to make it exist, how you're planning to deliver it, how you're planning to offer it. So it is a huge myth that you need fancy tech setup to sell stuff. If what you're selling is rubbish, the most all singing, all dancing setup ever will not save you. It's like you can't like polish a turd or whatever the expression is. Some of the very best courses and programs I've done have literally been Facebook groups, links to files in Dropbox sent through emails, and maybe a group Zoom call. Like, if I think back about the most transformational things I've done, they have been super duper low tech. And that's been fine because the content and the value was not in the delivery. You also don't need to have everything integrated. This is another thing that gets people super stressed, and it doesn't need to. It's totally okay to do things manually to start, especially if you've got, 5, 10, 20, maybe even 30 people, you can do it manually. So, for example, you can grab their email from your PayPal, and then you can pop that email in manually into your email service provider and send them the welcome email. So on the sales page, you would just put, you'll receive a welcome email within 24 hours or something else like that that you can commit to. And I really, really encourage you to work with what you've got. Getting distracted with a brand new system is procrastination at its finest during a fast launch. You are not launching a new system. No one cares what system you use. They care that they can buy it, and they care that you can give them what you said they were going to give them, and they can learn or experience or whatever you said that they would. So let's talk about the 4 main areas you need to be considering. The first is a way to take payment. This could be a PayPal button, it could be Samcart or Thrivecart or Acuity that's integrated with PayPal or Stripe. It could be Gumroad, it could be Sendal. There's lots of options. You're already all in business. You've probably figured out taking money, I hope. The next thing to consider is a way to communicate with people who buy. So this is usually email, and you're usually going to have at least one first welcome email automated, although it's not essential depending on what you're doing. So this is systems like ConvertKit, MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, GetResponse, Drip. Didn't have Drip on here originally, and Emma was like, you need to put Drip on. Emma is a Drip certified consultant. She's like we're like rivals in this email marketing world. So I put Drip on for her. And also you can just send emails like from your regular email address. Like it doesn't all have to be in a system if you haven't got that figured out. And in this category, you're also going to want to consider Facebook groups, Slack, Voxer, which is like a walkie-talkie app, WhatsApp, things like that. Depends what you're offering them, but these are extra ways to communicate stuff with them. The next section to consider is a way to deliver the material. So this might be Dropbox, Google Drive, Amazon S3 storage, Teachable, Thinkific, Gumroad, Sendal, a membership site on your WordPress site, unlisted YouTube videos, password protected pages, etc. That's just giving them content, either written, audios, videos, PDFs, etc. that already exist. And then the last main category you may or may not need to consider is a way to deliver any live elements. So this could be using Zoom or Demia or another webinar system. It could be doing Facebook Lives in a private group or something like that. So basically, you need to have a way for them to pay you. And then a simple way to think about this is in the what's included, how it works section. So you're going to get a Facebook group, you're going to get a one-to-one call with me, all of that. You need to have a way to deliver that, and you need to have a way to tell them how they access it, where it is. But it does not need to be complicated. You are providing value and transformation in their lives, which has nothing to do with the tech system you deliver it. Like if you're giving them a PDF, it doesn't matter if that was Dropbox, Google Drive, uploaded to personally sent email, Teachable, Thinkific. It doesn't matter, they received the PDF, uploaded to Facebook group. Don't stress about the tech stuff too much. Okay, we're on the home straight, people. Home straight. Still got most of you with me, which is awesome. Okay. This is a collection of miscellaneous fast launching, slow launching, whatever tips. These are all things that you are going to add as you go. None of them should be on your essentials list at the start. And by the time you get to this stuff, your launch should have already started. This is just other ways to boost the energy, talk to more people, help people decide if it's for them, make more sales, etc. So you can install a live chat app on your site so people can chat with you directly. So the main two systems for this are Drift or live chat. Drift has a free option, which is quite good. Live chat, I believe, only has paid options. That's the one that's on my site. If you visit my site, it will pop up if I'm there or not. If you're twiddling your thumbs a couple of days into cart being open, do try some Facebook Lives on your business page or in your group, and you can also run ads to these because lives, Facebook algorithm favors videos over most other things. I want to say something else about the lives. This would be different really to a pre-planned Facebook Live series. This is going live, talking about things, FAQs. Another thing that can be super fun, and I haven't put on here because I've just thought of it, but it's worked for a client very well, is using an app like Be Live and doing interviews with past people who've worked with you on Facebook Lives. You can include countdown timers on your sales page and or in emails. Motion Mail is really, really good for emails. It's free. And you can also open up 15-minute sessions with you so they can see you in action and or you can answer their questions. So I've had people join ConvertKit Rockstars who booked a 15-minute call with me to see if it was a good fit for them. And if you're going to offer 15-minute sessions with people, I really do recommend that you sort of overemphasize that you do not want people to sign up who it's not a good fit for. Like, you're going to honestly tell them if it's good for them or not, and if it's just to reassure them that you're not going to, it's not going to be like an intense sales call or anything. Maria, what did you use for selling this training? Was it just the checkout page? So this training was sold just through a Samcart checkout page, and that was integrated with Demio through Zapier, and then it was also connected to ConvertKit, and the final email you got was from ConvertKit, but the initial email was from Demio. Kevin, is there a way to add a countdown timer on Samcart? Yes, there is. I did do it. It didn't look that good though. It's not built into the system, but you can get countdown timers from other sites and put it in as HTML. Message me about that, and we can figure out if we can do that for you. Catherine's asked, how does the chat work? Do people actually use it? Are you actually answering in real time? Oh my goodness. So I installed live chat on my site a while ago. Like how many months? Like maybe 5-6 months ago, I installed live chat on my site. And whenever I'm just at my computer, I have it turned on. And I get people messaging me. They can leave messages. If I'm not there, they can leave messages and I get sent an email that someone's left a message. But if I'm there, I can chat to them live. I love it so much. Within like 24 hours of installing it, which one was it? Bright Verify, which checks spam email addresses. I have a blog post about a system, and within about 24 hours of putting live chat on, they were on my site live chatting with me, asking me if I'd like to be an affiliate because they've noticed I've sent them quite a lot of traffic. So that was a super quick win from live chat. I have people kind of if I'm on for more than a few hours, I'd say quite often I will have someone chat with me. So kind of like most days, someone will message me. A lot of them lead to sales. It really contributes to the know, like, and trust. Like, it's so cute when people be like, is it really you? And I'm like, yeah, it's really me. Like, I'm actually here. I'm just on my computer chatting to you. And the other thing I love about live chat, which is a paid one, is that I can see where everybody is. I can see which page they're on. I can see where they came from. And you can kind of just like see people wandering around your site. And it's just super fun. I mean, I don't use it for stats or anything, but I just love, I need to write a blog post that's like 5 things I learned since I installed live chat, because like a lot of my traffic comes from Google and I didn't really realize that. But you can just see the people and what country they're in. You can just sort of see them wandering around. It's super cute. If you're not there, do they get a message? Yes, it looks different. So if I'm actually there, you can test this, not now. Well, we can go now, it's a message now. But if I'm actually there, I've got it set up and it says, I'm actually here, chat with me. And if I'm not actually there, it doesn't pop up so much. It's kind of like a little bar, but people use it like a contact form. Some people just send me through there because it's easier and it's just in the bottom corner. Kat can confirm I'm actually there chatting in real time. I am actually there. It's not automated at all. Catherine says, do you have a ton of traffic going to your site? No, I don't. I don't know. It's hard to quantify. I've no idea how many people visit my site. I'm not good at tracking the numbers. I'm kind of just into... so since I thought I had less people on my site than I did, but since getting live chat, like, most of the time there's at least between 1 and maybe 5 people on my website. I've got an affiliate link for live chat for all you people want to go play with it, by the way. But most of the time there's usually 1 to 5 people on my site, and you can sort of see where they come from and where they go, and that data is not really tracked in live chat. It's only when you're really looking at it, but I love that data. It's just super fun to look at. I don't super track the numbers. I'm just doing fun shit in the world and hoping for the best. That's my entire business strategy in a nutshell. Yeah, so I'm just gonna super quickly type in the affiliate link for this for you guys to play with. I mean, don't go and look at it now, but I'll make sure I include it in the recording email, and Emma will hopefully jot down because I will have already forgotten I said that. Okay, I've got a few more things. More miscellaneous tips. We're nearly there. Add in, there's another option, adding in a last minute bonus if it's become apparent something is really missing from what you're offering. So when I was launching Collective Momentum, I had lots of people who were quite interested, but the biggest thing people were saying was, should I do this or do I need one-to-one? And I was kind of like, oh, I mean, I kind of think of this as you'll have me one-to-one. There's loads of access to me one-to-one. Like, I've got your back. I'm going to support you through this. And I realized that on paper, it didn't really look like there was a bunch of one-to-one. So I added in one-to-one Voxer support, and I emailed everyone, and I'm just like, I've added in a new bonus to the program. And then that actually supported a lot of people to decide to join, because they then understood kind of my vision for it a bit better because I'd added in this extra bonus. But you could create an extra training or something that it's clear people are missing, and then add that in as a new bonus and promote it. Send personal emails to people who've clicked through to the sales page multiple times but haven't bought, and ask them if they have any questions. So this like personal touch, any touch point they can have with actually you is massively going to help your sales. You can add a click to tweet button on the thank you page, or if you've got a free Facebook group, invite them to post in your Facebook group about why they've decided to join. That can be good, just to, it's kind of like social proof that people are actually joining. And the last one is, if you've got biz buddies, you can ask them to share it, especially if you can set them up with an affiliate link through whatever payment system you're using. But often people are happy to share stuff on Facebook for you. Like, people will often share without you asking. Like, people share my stuff all the time. Like Lene, like an hour and a bit ago, shared this training, and I hadn't asked her, and I was super grateful about that. So don't feel bad asking people to share stuff. They might say no, and then that's okay, but you can ask them to share. So Lene said, how do you track if people have clicked through multiple times? So in ConvertKit, super quick, I create 2 tags. One is called clicked : sales page 1, and one is called clicked : sales page 2. And then I go to the first email I sent about it, and I tag everybody clicked sales page 1 tag. And then I go to the second email I sent about it, and I tag everyone who clicked on the link to the sales page in the second email. And then I create a segment of everybody who has the first tag and the second tag. And I had like 3, 4, 5, and I spent ages creating these segments and scenarios for ConvertKit Rockstars. And I emailed maybe 10, 15 people personally who had clicked through more than once, and asked them if they had any questions and if I could help them at all. Heather said, suggestions for who to go through to be able to use affiliate links for biz buddies. Gumroad allows you to do affiliate links, but Gumroad's super strict on what you can sell through Gumroad and not. So check out the details for that. Sendal allows you to do affiliate links. Samcar, the Pro plan, which is super pricey, and I probably would not recommend to any of you for fast launching if you don't already use it, allows affiliate links. Thrivecart allows affiliate links. And then there's a couple of other affiliate platforms. Another option for affiliate links, depending on where you're selling and what you're doing, is to create coupons of their names, which give them, you know, say you're selling a $200 product, it gives them, I don't know, a $25 discount. And then anyone who buys with that coupon, you know that they came from that person because they had that coupon. So that's a really easy way to create a really informal affiliate program, is to use coupons, and then they're more inclined to share it because they're able to offer a discount for their people. So that's an informal way to do an affiliate program. Okay, the last thing, we're on to the last section of the fast launch, or any launch, to be honest. This next thing is an any launch thing. Ooh, Catherine has asked, how much affiliate commission would you recommend? Between 30 and 50% is industry standard if you can take unlimited numbers of people. If you can't take unlimited numbers of people and there is like legit more of your one-to-one time and brain in there, then you just have to give it a price that feels good. Like, I don't know. So for ConvertKit Rockstars, the second round, I offered people super informally who'd done the first round $100, and the second round was $700. So that's what felt good to me, but there's not really any rules if there's your one-to-one effort involved. You don't have to also do it if there's a bunch of your one-to-one effort involved. Like Biz Buddies will share affiliate link or no affiliate link. Biz Acquaintances may want an affiliate link, you know? Okay, last step. The post-launch feedback survey. So, unless you are absolutely exhausted from your launch, please, please, please do not skip this step. This step is so magical, and if you've never done it before, it's gonna, but you have launched, if you've launched before, but you've never done this before, you are going to be wowed by what happens. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna email everyone who didn't buy. So this is after the launch. You're gonna email everyone who didn't buy. And you're either gonna email your whole list or the warm people that didn't buy. You thank them for sticking with you through your launch, because launches are quite intense for anyone's inboxes. And you ask them if they would mind completing your super short feedback survey about why they didn't join. And you reiterate that it's totally cool that they didn't join. You just want to make sure that you're creating really good stuff for your people. Both times I've done this, I've also sweetened the deal by offering a little something of value in exchange for their feedback. So after ConvertKit Rockstars, I offered a free month in ConvertKit Club to anyone who filled in my feedback survey. And after Rock Your Tech Specialism, I offered my mini product, How to Launch Your First Tech Service This Weekend, which was, I think it's $27 or $29. So something that's value is under like $30, I'm finding is quite a sweet spot. But obviously it depends on the price of what you're selling. Like, don't offer something that's more valuable. Like, it wouldn't make sense for me to do that for this launch because this thing was only $47, you know? So as another bonus for you guys, I'm going to link to both my post-launch surveys and the emails I sent asking people to please fill them in for me. So I had 47 people fill in my first post-launch survey for ConvertKit Rockstars, and I did not have a humongous list at the time. Like that, I was so shocked that 47 people filled that in. And I had 15 people fill it in for Rock Your Tech Specialism, which was a lot less, but a lot less people on my list were even remotely interested that I was offering this program. So here's what comes out of this feedback. Really specific information about why people didn't buy, what you didn't explain very well, what you didn't make clear to them, if the price point was right or wrong for people, and what was or wasn't included and how people felt about that. it may also highlight some stragglers who were completely oblivious to your launch, but who you may want to let in a couple of days late. It's totally your call, and if that feels authentic to you or not. The first ConvertKit Rockstars launch, I had 15 spots. It completely sold out. Someone who had previously worked with emailed me, and they're like, I completely missed this launch. I want to do this so bad. Please, will you let me sign up? And it felt good to let her sign up, and she did. And also, it may identify people who would have been perfect for what you were offering, but couldn't afford it. And if sometimes I feel really called to offer scholarships, give people things for free, like, you just do what feels good, but you might identify a couple of people like that. And they don't always take it. Sometimes if you offer something for someone for free, they don't always take it, by the way. And lastly, it's incredible for suggestions for other products and services people would be interested in buying from you down the line. Now, if you have launched something a little bit bigger and it was clear that one part of what you just launched people super wanted, then you can offer that as a downsell immediately after the launch. So like so you can send the launch finishes, the next week you send this feedback survey that you're like, oh my goodness, everyone just wanted module 1. Basically, the next week you can offer module 1 as a standalone thing. So because you've still got the energy of that launch, you've still done the work selling them the stuff, you can offer them a section of it or repackage it or whatever. Okay, that is the post-launch feedback survey. Don't skip it unless you literally are just like can't move because your launch was the most ridiculously successful thing you ever did and you're exhausted. And then it's time to celebrate and relax. Now, I really, really, really want to make you understand this because I'm so passionate about this. You are celebrating because you did your best. You are not celebrating or not celebrating or not celebrating because of your results. You are celebrating because you did your best. And hopefully you're also celebrating your results. But I think we live in this culture where we don't allow ourselves to celebrate when things don't go as planned. And I think that that's just telling ourselves that our best is not good enough and our best is good enough because all we can do is our best. So you always want to make sure that you've got time to celebrate and relax, planned in at the end of a launch. And even if it didn't go to plan, you still want to celebrate that you did your best and you did a thing that many people have businesses and like never launch. They have ideas, they just never do. And you are doing them. So you get to celebrate that and that you did your best. And I had a point on that and it's just gone straight out of my brain. You did your best, you did the thing. Oh, and in a couple of weeks, you're probably going to launch something new anyway. So that you will have learned from this launch. Celebrate because you did your best, not because of your results. I think that should be a life fact for people. Okay. Almost last slide. So what's next? This is an offer for you. If you do a fast launch inspired by this training by the 7th of February, so that's 3 weeks away, and your cart is open or you're in a pre-launch phase, is actually happening on the 8th of February, I would love to include you in a promo email to my list. Now, if you don't have a huge audience yourself, this should be a really good incentive to take action. My list is not huge, it's a little over 1,000, but they are pretty engaged and responsive. So the deal is, if you fast launch something as a result of this training, I mean, I'm not going to check, it doesn't really matter, you can send me a paragraph of text and one link relating to your launch. So this can be for either a paid thing or a free thing. It's totally up to you, but I would love to send out an email with some people who have taken action as a result of this training. And yeah, that's the offer. I will send you some reminder emails, but hopefully that's enough time to get together a fast-ish launch. 3 weeks, and hopefully it should be go time on a part of it in the next 3 weeks. So that's a little incentive for some of you. It won't be right for everybody, for all of you, but for some of you, hopefully that will be a fun thing. And then lastly, there's no pitch coming. There's no, just to warn you, like, to warn you. People were so surprised in the last one that there was no pitch. I'm like, legit, that was everything I know. I'm done now. There's no pitch coming, but I wanted to let you know that I'm really digging this training format at the moment. Just like here's everything I know at a lower cost than I could charge, that I would have to charge if I did a bigger course, whatever. So to creating your first course, the simple guide to positioning, and the painless guide to pricing. Seems like quite a few of you might be interested in that pricing one. So I haven't got any dates planned in for any of them yet. I'm hoping the easy guide to creating your first course will be the first week of, no, not the first week, the second week of early February, let's say. But if any of these you're just like, oh my God, I need that last week, do let me know, and then I can rejig the order I do them. I do also have to kind of like, I don't know, they have to download into my brain, but I am planning to do these. So I have to find the balance between being inspired to launch them and also planning to launch them, you know? Okay, people were hyped about the offer. That was good, that I will promote you if you do something. Emma missed the first hour but loves this format. This one has run on a lot longer, but it turns out I've got a lot to say about launching. Kathy, can you put me on your affiliate list? My community will love these. Yeah, so you are totally welcome to sign up to be an affiliate for basically all of my stuff. I'm going to put the link into the chat to sign up to be an affiliate. I offer most things at 50% affiliate, others at other prices, other amounts. Okay, I think I got all those questions. Neve said, can you launch too much or too often? Okay, oh, there's one more slide. Wait. Ta-da! Q&A time. Okay, right. Hit me with your questions. So I'm going to answer Neve's first. Can you launch too much and too often? I don't think you can. I've had coaches tell me, yes, you can, but I disagree. I have broken all the rules repeatedly in my business and it seems to be working. I laughed because I don't think, Neve, you're at risk of launching too much or too often right now. You do a few bigger launches a few times a year. And I think, so the coach I've worked with most recently said you need to launch one thing at a time. And I have repeatedly broken that rules. Like quite often I'm like enrolling multiple things at a time. So no, I don't think there's rules. I don't think there's rules. You just have to do stuff in your audience. So I'll give you an example. So I was gearing up to the second launch of ConvertKit Rockstars. And like 2 days before the pre-launch period was going to start, Emma and I had the idea for Get Shit Done Club, and within 24 hours we had gone from idea to creating it to having paying clients in it. And I legit emailed, I think it was like a Saturday, or maybe it was even the day before I was going to launch ConvertKit Rockstars, and I'm just like, you know what, I've got a new thing and I'm super hyped, and people joined off the back of that email. And maybe it was confusing to them, but I do so many different things and most people roughly know what's going on, or if they don't, they can ask me. Like, I know I launch so much and it confuses people, all the things I offer, which is why I've created the everything page. I don't know if you've seen it yet. I'm super loving it. Let me just show you. This is like the graveyard. No, that's not true. This is kind of everything that I have in my business: free stuff, paid stuff, services, courses, everything. And that's kind of where I'm putting everything right now. And I completely lost what I was saying. Yeah, as long as you're not super confusing people, but even if you are, they can ask you and find out what's going on. Just, yeah. Okay, Evelina, how long would you give from day one of pre-launch to the cart closing day? What is the shortest time frame? I mean, 3 or 4 days from someone, probably a week. I'd probably say it would be hard pushed from the first time your audience know that they can buy it to the last opportunity for them to buy it. Probably about a week. But I'd say there are exceptions to that. If it's super low cost, if you just really want to do it on a specific day because it's the new moon and you just had the idea the day before, like, there's no harm in trying it. If you can get the fast launching down to a couple of hours, you just get to try it. And it's not that big a deal if no one buys it or, you know, it doesn't like work. Hopefully that answered your question a little bit. Kevin, does my launch this weekend for my Career Confidence Challenge qualify for your offer? Yeah, it does, because you're in Collective Momentum, and I love my Collective Momentum peeps. So yeah, it can. If it overlaps, if there's something they can do on the 8th, then yeah, 8th of February, then yes, I will include it. Okay, Velma, I missed the beginning, so maybe this has been covered already. What if you launch something no one buys, you launch something else, etc.? Do your people start thinking you're just launching stuff and not being successful? Okay, that's a really good question. It's a really good question. I didn't cover this anywhere else, so I'm going to answer this. So, how does your list know that no one bought it? Would be my question. How do they know that no one bought it? Now, if there was, you know, there's 15 spots and none of the spots are like. Okay, that's the first question. How does anyone know that no one bought it? I don't, and that's the first thing. And the second thing is no one is paying anywhere near as much attention as you think. You can send 8 launch emails and there will be someone who will fill in that feedback survey and be like, I had no idea you were launching. I missed this. I'm so sad. Like, people are just not paying attention. So you have to tell them lots of times. So no one buying, it may be the right person. You haven't got in front of the right person yet. I think you probably missed the stuff on manifesting, maybe. You probably haven't got in front of the right person yet. But A, they don't know that no one bought, and B, no one's paying that much attention or cares that much. Velma said, if you have a Facebook group for a program, people could see how many are in there. Not all programs would have that, though. Ah, okay, Velma. Okay, so for like a live-ish program, I didn't realize that it solved this problem, but it does. I hated it when I would be super hyped and buy something, be in a Facebook group, I would do my intro post, and actually I was the only person in there because I was way too keen. And it was super awkward. So everything I launch now that has a Facebook group, the Facebook group opens on the first day of the thing so that everyone comes in at the same time, the energy is hyped, everyone introduces themselves, everyone's excited, it's all good. So that would also, I'd never really thought of this before, solve the problem, because I do this too. I go and see, where's the Facebook group? Who's in it? How many people have signed up? And actually, I've done it for things where they haven't yet let anyone in. So it looks like the group exists, but there's no one in there. So yeah, my advice would be don't do the Facebook group until it starts. And there's many benefits to that. And that is another one, which I'm going to add to my list of ideas. Okay, Catherine, does this apply to B2C? I assume B2C audiences have a lower tolerance for launching. Ooh, yeah. So no, I think this absolutely applies to B2C. And okay, so 2 things on this. The first thing, I heard from the grapevine that the average person receives, I think it's less than 6 promotional emails a day. And the fact that you are launching an online group training, if they're B2C, this is the most shiny, magical thing ever. Like, they don't, like, it's such an interesting format. They're not fatigued by it. Like, you know, people who are just like, oh my gosh, I get to download a free PDF guide. This is so good. She's going to send me a guide and it's free. I'm so excited. I'm going to look at it. Like, B2C has this innocence and magic that online B2B does not have in the same way. And the second thing I'd say is, if you don't like believe me that regular people don't have as much promotional emails, ask if your friend or your relatives or whatever, if they can talk you through the emails that are in their inbox right now. And then you will see that actually probably your emails in there are quite interesting and quite different. Because if people are on, so you're a career coach person, if people are getting daily emails from, you know, job sites and, you know, top tips for this, that, and you're so interesting compared to them. They are not on loads of people's lists like you. So they're going to be so much more interested in your launch because it's shiny and they're not super fatigued, is what I think about that. Okay, Alex, how critical do you think it is that your payment processor provides SSL? I love Gumroad, but it does not include SSL encryption for payments. Do you think this could make or break sales? I thought are you sure Gumroad doesn't have SSL? Or Gumroad doesn't have SSL when it goes onto your site? So I thought all things that receive payments have to be SSL, basically. I'm not sure about that. But what I would do is get the data from the feedback and see if anyone comments on that. And that will tell you. Because someone, if it is a problem, someone will say, yeah, I wasn't going to give you payment. Or people will tell you, I'm not happy to do it. Is there another way I can pay? And then you figure it out. But I wouldn't super worry about the problem until someone tells you it's a problem. That's my general attitude. Catherine, I love what you said about envisaging how people find you. My people tend to hear about me through places that I'm 1 degree removed from, through a friend they trust, through a Facebook group they trust. I love that people find me in that way, but how do I reach them if it's indirect? You just keep showing up, doing your thing, encouraging people to share you, put a call to action. Do you know anyone who needs to hear this today? Do you know anyone who needs to watch this video, read this blog post, etc.? Like, you just, honestly, you just keep showing up, doing your thing, and encouraging people to share you and talk about you if they like you. Lene, is it bad to tell people no one bought your last product? I'm usually pretty transparent about my process and share fails. Too transparent. It's up to you. If you want to tell people that no one bought your last product, I think as long as you can position it from a place. So I'm also quite transparent and quite honest about business. I'm a relative open book. I'm not super forthcoming about all of it, but if you ask me, I'll usually tell you. I think if you can position it as I offered this thing, but I realized this thing wasn't the right thing, so here I'm doing this thing instead. That works super well. And I've seen all sorts of people completely change what they're offering, and they've said it's because it's not because you're not changing it because no one bought it. You're changing it because you realized it was not the right way to serve the people you can help. And I think that reframe might help you. Let me know if it does. Catherine said, great idea. Honestly, I have no idea what great idea I just gave, but I'm glad that helped. Alex, positive, Gumroad has no SSL. Which Alex is this? Hang on, let me just check which Alex this is. Which Alex is this? Because Alex. Okay, Alex. Yes. Okay, we'll talk about this afterwards, Alex. I'm not sure I would do it until someone tells you they're not happy about it. And then, because some people won't pay by PayPal, and they will message you and they will be like, I'm not going to pay by PayPal. Is there another way to pay? And then you figure that out as you go. Just start where you're at, and then you improve over time. Kevin's heading out to work on the launch essentials. Excellent. Catherine, I love what you said about envisaging people. No, we did that. Yep, we did that one. Repayments. Cat. I have repayments. I had a client who hates when a shopping cart makes it mandatory. He puts certain information like his address in order to buy, especially if the product program is delivered entirely via online. Yeah, I mean, people hate different things. Sometimes people have to get the address to deal with like tax and stuff. But yeah. Merle, I've taken courses on launches before, but I'm coming away with a real sense of how to do this, and I agree I should step up my game and do it faster and connect more energetically with my people. Fantastic. Velma said, good reframe. Renata, thanks. Evelina, if you're offering a Facebook group as part of your program and have limited amount of people allowed to the program, how do you deal if only a few buy it? So let's say you're only taking 10 and only 3 people bought, or worse, only 1 person buys. What do you do? So you talk to those people and you offer them something better than what it was originally going to be. If you don't feel good delivering the format that you were planning to deliver for 3 people, like if that's not enough to deliver in a group, it's not going to be the full experience, then you switch it up and you change what you're offering and you offer it one-to-one. People or a small group, or you do small group workshops. Like, people have bought the transformation that they think you can help them with. The format is not super critical. So you can reach out to them and you can be like, hey, so would you like this instead? And they will say yes or no. Hang on. Yeah, Catherine said that she needs address for tax purposes. Ash, what is the absolute shortest launch from planning to finish feedback that you think would be successful? 1 week's total time? Does it just depend on what you're launching? It just depends. It just depends. Like, I think I first emailed about this on the 11th of January. So I emailed, the first time anyone could join the Fast Guide to Launching was the 11th of January. I think I did the sales page and I set it all up on the 11th of January. So what, we're 11th to the 17th. Now, I probably won't send a feedback because it was a lower price thing, but I did go from, hey, this thing for the first time that they heard about, through to like close and delivering in 6 days. Okay. What have you seen work well to provide urgency in an evergreen launch? How do you not end up giving away everything for free during the pre-launch phase or in your free stuff? Okay, urgency for evergreen, doing it as a live round as a group works really well. I don't recommend discounts for evergreen. I do recommend bonuses, and I do recommend everyone who's kind of already in there also gets that bonus. So doing it as a live round, adding in some Q&A calls, generally picking up the energy, doing it together, offering a challenge or some additional workshops. If you sign up by this date, you get to come to this bonus workshop, that kind of thing I've seen work quite well. I don't do a ton of evergreen stuff with people. Most people I work with are coincident, like actually just launching on the regular. How do you end up not giving away everything for free? It's a tricky one, but often you kind of want your free to be the best stuff. Like, if you can hook them in with the free, then they're buying the experience. It depends what you're launching, but often they're buying the experience with you. They're buying support, they're buying the structure, they're buying the accountability, they're buying the systematic approach. So with my ConvertKit Rockstars launches, I went super in depth with the Facebook Lives I was doing, but it was completely different to the actual ConvertKit Rockstars program because it was not structured. It was just like a snapshot, super in depth, but it didn't kind of relate to how you put it all together. So they were signing up to ConvertKit Rockstars for the like bigger picture, how it all fits together. But some people absolutely got free value from those Facebook Lives, didn't need or want ConvertKit Rockstars, but they now like me more and might come back and join something like this later down the line. Does that help a little bit? Evelina says, you're amazing. What a great way to reframe. This is fantastic training. You rock. Thank you. Thank you. Catherine, what has been a time when you followed your initial when it didn't make sense, but it totally worked out? Oh, gosh. I feel like I do that all the time. Like, it doesn't even feel that silly anymore because I long ago stopped caring what all the rules were. So when I'll give you an example. well, did it work out or not? I don't know. It felt better, and that's what I was going for. So when I first launched ConvertKit Rockstars, I had created it out of a program I'd done, Create Your First Group program. I don't know. It was with Rebecca Tracy from Young Cage Life, and it was amazing. And I just didn't want to send a solo email to my list. I very rarely send solo emails to my list. Rebecca was absolutely horrified that I was going to include my very first big launch in a list of other stuff. But I knew that that was the right way to do it. I'd sat down to write this proper first full solo email just about my launch, and it just didn't flow right. And once I decided to put it in a bigger email with other stuff, it was so easy to write it, and I sent it and I got a sale straight away. And I honestly don't think I'd have had more sales had I written a solo email, but it was so much more me. I regularly spent a lot of money on coaches and training and courses intuitively, even when it doesn't really make sense. You know, it's like the serendipity, the happy coincidences, things that like you kind of, I don't know. I'll see if I can think of any better examples for you. I'm going to see if I can think of any better. And if I can, I will let you and other people know. It's reassuring. I often feel like I'm giving away too much. I've had people get jobs and negotiate big salary increases for my free stuff. What's the difference between Drift and live chat? I prefer the interface of live chat. Drift has a free option though. I don't quite understand Drift. Like there's some tech systems I just don't super understand. Drift is one of them. But my wife Emma used or uses Drift. So if you're interested in Drift, the free version, she can probably help you with that. Lorna, do you think that trademarking your course matters, or does your copyright symbol at the bottom of teaching downloads, etc. suffice? I have never trademarked anything. I think the copyright symbol at the bottom suffices. I've never had a problem with anyone stealing my stuff that I know of. If they did, I would put on my big girl pants and handle it somehow. I think the thing at the bottom suffices. Like I don't even always put that on. I don't know. I trust in karma. I trust in karma. Lorna, I noticed that a lot of American courses are trademarked to the gills. Yeah, and you know, they've got big budgets and lots of time to do that, and they launch 2 massive courses twice a year, and they make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions from that. And it's the right thing for them to be doing, but I'm a smaller fish and I can just be more nimble and go with the flow. I love that you don't care about the rules. I care too much and that holds me back. You're totally inspiring me to stop being such a perfectionist procrastinator. Good, good. I break all the rules and I'm still here and it's still working, and actually it's going pretty well, and I attract lovely, lovely people who are inspired by rule breaking and want permission to rule break. So if I want to give people permission to do, I was talking to Lene about this the other day, if I want to give people permission to do what they want in their life, and if she wants to give permission to people to do what they want in their life, you just have to live you and be you. So that's what I'm doing. Evelina, question about refund policies. I'm wondering what to offer for a 4-week health coaching program where content will be released weekly. You need to do what feels good to you. So I would probably, okay, there's 2 routes you go. There's 3 routes you go. You go the no refund policy route. That's one route that you can take. You go the hoops refund policy route. So I will provide you a full refund if you turn up to all the calls and you provide me all the homework, blah, blah, blah. And then there's the 3rd refund route, which is no questions asked route. Now, it's been proven that the more lenient the refund policy, the more people will sign up, and the less that they will take advantage of it. So more stuff I've done more recently, I've had this and the Lazy Guide to Affiliate Marketing. I've had a refund policy on it. within like 2 weeks or something. I think I've had 2 people take me up on that, both of which were like, I didn't learn anything new. And I'm like, well, that's a lie because I came up with this stuff, but whatever, you can have a refund, you know? So you need to find, like, I wouldn't offer a refund policy that extends beyond the 2nd week, and I may offer one that's in the 1st week. They should, it depends on what point you think they can decide if this is the right fit for them, but you need to do it in a way that they need to decide if it's the right fit for them before they sign up. Like, I think the way you word everything kind of states what you're available for. This is my new coach, talks about you need to decide you're not available for people wanting refunds, you know? Does that help at all? I feel like I went on a ramble. Catherine said, what are your thoughts on refunds and guarantees? I've just answered that. Let me know if you've got any follow-up questions. Velman, any advice on how to bring together, like under one umbrella, tech training and LinkedIn strategy training? I don't quite understand the question. I don't think. Like, you want to teach people how to do the strategy and tech of using LinkedIn effectively? Good. Emma's going to take permission and run with it. Evelina says that helps. Catherine has to run. Bye. People are losing. This has been a really long training, and I'm kind of sorry, but I'm also gave you good stuff, so I'm not that sorry. Does that, like, Velma, like, ConvertKit Rockstars is strategy and tech. It's a strategy and tech course. I give you the overview to create your strategy, and then I teach you the tech to implement. So yeah, and you just decide that's what you're teaching them, and you make it super clear about who it's for and what the end goals are and what problems it solves. Okay, I offer both tech training about many different things, email marketing, websites, etc., and I do LinkedIn stuff and Facebook ads trainings and strategies. How am I going to make that sense to people? Literally nothing I do makes any sense. Like, in the last, I don't know, 6 months, I have done ConvertKit Club, ConvertKit Rockstars, group and DIY. I've done affiliate marketing. I've done now launching. I've done collective momentum. I've done a bunch of different one-to-one services and offers. I've done Rock Your Tech Specialism, and I've gone down this route of I'm going to help you be a specialist tech service provider. Like, it doesn't need, like, as long as each individual thing makes sense and you can imagine the real people who are going to buy it, I think that's fine. Now, obviously, you're on ConvertKit too. So because okay, this is a better answer. Because I launch and help people with such a wide variety of things, whenever I launch anything, I give people the option to stop hearing about that. So when I launch ConvertKit things, whenever I ever talk about ConvertKit in emails, I say, if you don't want to hear about ConvertKit, click here. And then I no longer send them things that are just about ConvertKit. When I launched Rock Your Tech Specialism, I said, if you're not a tech VA or service provider and you don't want to hear about this, click here. At times I've done affiliate marketing, I've given people the option to opt out of those launches. So that's how I handle it. I assume everyone's interested until they tell me they're not. Lene says, how do you keep track of people who are interested, click they don't want to hear? I tag them. I tag them and I say, opted out, colon, and what it is they don't want to hear about. And if I'm going to send an email that's just about that thing, then I exclude that tag of people. Velma says, so do you not send them your combined emails if there's anything in there about a topic they don't want to hear about? I do it 2 ways. The first way is I use conditional content based on tags. So sometimes if I'm sending all sorts of things and one of them is like about ConvertKit, I will block out everybody who has the tag not interested in ConvertKit. And then sometimes I will still send them the email. If there's like enough things in there, like one thing is ConvertKit and I can't be bothered to set up the conditional content, then I just still send it. But people are really weird. So at the bottom of every email, it says, if you no longer want to hear about ConvertKit, click here. And if I use that particular template, even if I don't mention ConvertKit in that email, like 3 people will click that at the bottom. And some people click it like every email. They're like, I don't want to hear about ConvertKit. I don't want to hear about ConvertKit. And I'm like, I haven't emailed you about ConvertKit in like 5 weeks. So people are weird. Don't worry about them too much. You know, just go with it. People are weird and unpredictable. They're not paying as much attention as you think. It's all good. Oh, my late night musings on life. I love it. Are there any other questions before we wrap up this bumper training? I'm gonna probably send the recording to, it might be tonight. Demi, it can take a little while to process it. And I'm also going to send you a reminder about the offer. If you do a fast launch, some of you seem to be super hyped and super excited, and I really hope that I see your fast launches, or any launches. Launching is good. Super soon. Velma has asked, will we see the chat in the replay? You won't see the chat in the replay. If you want to see the chat in the, I can download the chat. If you want the chat, I can send you the chat separately. If that makes sense. Lorna enjoyed it and is revved up. Good. Yeah. Velma, if you just message me and remind me, I will get the chat for you afterwards. I don't think I'll send it to everyone. I've never seen that done. Huh, maybe it would be useful to have that done. Ooh, maybe I could just send the chat to everyone. That could be really interesting. Ooh, what's the worst case that could happen? This is literally how my brain works in action. Here's a random idea. What could happen if I do that? Would I like it if some other people did that? What's worst case scenario, you know? So yeah, I might send the chat to everyone. Okay, I think people are finished with their questions. This has been so much fun with you guys. Thank you so much for sticking out to the end if you're still here. Thank you for watching the recording if you're watching the recording. And I'm super excited to see your fast launches really, really soon. Now I have to work out how to close the thing. Okay, here's where stop webinar is. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you.